folks, I'm Nina Thornton, and welcome to Tech Tuesday at 2 here in the Adobe Creative Studios. The event and this space are designed to encourage students to experiment with some of the latest software and devices. We want to make these tools accessible to all OSU students and provide opportunities for students to develop proficiency and a comfort level with all kinds of technology they will use to be successful here at OSU and beyond. Tech Tuesday at 2 will meet here in the Adobe Creative Studios on the first Tuesday of every school month for interactive showcases of emerging and innovative technology. Last month, we took a look at the LG 360 camera and how to edit that footage. If you missed one of our programs or simply need a refresher, all of the programs will be rebroadcast on OState TV and can be found by searching the library's website for Tech Tuesday, where we post the videos to our webpage as well. Today, we'll be talking about the pen tool and nothing but the pen tool. Kaitlin Little, graphic design intern here at the OSU Library, will walk us through how to use the most important tool featured throughout Adobe software. There will be time for questions and answers at the end. So if you're watching today's live stream, you can submit questions via Twitter using hashtag LibTech2s. At the end of our program, we will be drawing for prizes, including today's grand prize, a bamboo slate. If you're an OSU student here with us, be sure to fill out a prize entry form. Miss Kaitlin, take it away.
All right, guys, so who's ready to learn about the pen tool? So first of all, we're going to go over what the pen tool is, what you can create with it, and just things like that. So the pen tool is a really bizarre tool, but it is really versatile, and you can use it for creating whatever you put your mind to. Mastering this tool gives you the freedom to create any vector image you could possibly desire. This is what the pen tool looks like. It looks like a fountain pen for those who are in like calligraphy or anything like that. This is your main tool head. And then these are the subheads that have different functions within Adobe. So when you first open the pen tool and you decide to create a new path, this little star right here means that you're getting ready to create a new path on your artboard. This little guy with the plus means that you can add an anchor point. We'll go over what anchor points are and everything, but basically it means that you can create another stopping point on the path that you just created. And then this one's just like to remove that anchor point. This little circle will appear whenever you're turning a path into a closed shape. So it's a closed path icon, and we'll go over that when we jump into our file. This little dash right here means that you're going to be connecting one path to a different path. And this one means that you're going to convert an anchor point into either a sharp point, which means that there's going to be sharper angles, or a round point, or a bezier point. And that'll all be up when we're playing with it inside. So what can you create? The easy answer is anything. You can create anything from straight lines, curvy lines, simple shapes, combination of both, and then you can just go crazy from there. These are just some of the things that I've done as my time as an intern here at the library. Just like you can create digital illustrations, characters, icons, just whatever you put your mind to. Because the pen tool operates off of anchor points and paths, again, anchor points are kind of your stopping, so they're the thing that form your shape or whatever you're trying to create. Because it operates off of that instead of pixels, think photographs when you think pixels, you are able to change, alter, and resize your graphic or whatever you're creating without any loss in quality. For example, so this would be a vectored image. You see how clean and sharp and everything it is versus like a photograph. If you mess with it a whole bunch, then it gets really pixelated and kind of jumbled. If you resize this guy, then in an Illustrator format, he won't change. He'll stay nice, clean, and sharp. So your vector files would be your AI, PDF, EPS, and SVG. And then your raster images are your standard JPEG, PNG, GIF, and TIFF. So we were talking about like resizing and everything. So you can go from crazy big to super itty bitty and you won't lose any quality in your vector image at all. So the freedom to scale and manipulate this makes it ideal for icons, logos, and digital illustrations. Where is the pen tool? So where can you find the pen tool? It can be found in any one of these Adobe applications: Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, After Effects, Animate, Experience Design, and Premiere. But for simplicity's sake, because the pen tool is such a big tool to try and take, we're just going to be focusing on Illustrator today. All right, and then here's your cheat sheet, and from there we're just going to jump into the student file. On your computer, at the very top, you should have a file that says Pen Tool Student File. You're going to want to open it. And then Illustrator should launch from there. And then we have 3 different artboards ranging from super easy to medium to a little bit harder. If you wanted, you can zoom into your first artboard right here using the zoom tool or the magnifying glass. The shortcut key for that is Z. And once you're ready with that, everyone good? You're going to want to open your pen tool, which is this little fountain pen right here, way up in the corner. And so everyone good? All right, so remember how I was saying with the different heads, you have that little star next to your pen tool? That just means you're getting ready to start a new path. And whenever you're ready, you can just click anywhere. You can follow the tutorial. You can do your own little thing. But yeah, just like click whenever you want to drop a new anchor point. You can stretch it for as long as you want. And then when you're ready to end a path, you just press P, and that'll cut it off. And then you're able to start a new path. And then just press P when you're ready to cut it off again. And then you just click and click. So it's super, super simple. If you're wanting to get like a perfectly straight line, then you can click and hold Shift while you click, and that'll make sure you get perfect 45-degree angles or perfect straight lines, horizontal or vertical. So click, and then press P to end. And then if you guys wanted to move on to the rectangle and the triangle. So when you're getting ready to close a shape, you see that that circle right here appears right next to your fountain pen. That just means you're getting ready to turn a path into a closed shape. And then it basically gives you the freedom to change it from a line to an actual like shape. Everyone doing good so far? Awesome. So, whenever you're ready to move on, when I was first learning the pen tool, the circle is probably the hardest thing you could possibly learn as a beginner. So what you want to do in order to create curves is you click and then you drag and see these lines up here. Basically, that just means you're about to start a curved path instead. So wherever you want to drop it, just click and now you have a curve instead of a sharp line. And then you just like keep dragging. Just, yep. Whenever you're creating like curvy things, some people tend to add more points, but I found that the lesser amount of points you add, it makes it easier to control the direction that your curve goes. If you add too many points, you might end up with some wonky curves. I've done that before. Right? And whenever you're ready to move on to the waves, or you can continue the circle, but basically, yes, Shannon?
Is there a way to adjust the handle to fix the curve a little bit?
Mm-hmm, there is. So what you want to do is go to your convert anchor point tool, or even your direct select tool, but Shift C gets you to your convert anchor point. When you click it, you can click and drag, and from there you can change your handle to fit wherever you need to go. You can make it shorter so that way it isn't quite so deep a curve. You can make it a little bit longer so it goes crazy. Yeah. Good question, thanks. Right, and then when you're ready to switch back over to your pen tool, you just press P. And then I'm gonna start on the wave. When you get up to this point, you just want to drag it like you would your circle. And then in order to create the sharp point, you're gonna click the anchor point that you just created, and it'll turn from a curved point on this end to a sharp point so you can get these nice sharp angles that you're looking for. So when you want to, say, make this curve, and then click to get that sharp point, and then in order to get this curve down here, you're going to want to click and drag. Ready? And then that completes like the medium and the easy one. Is everyone good to move on, or you want to spend some time on it some more? Does anyone have any questions? Nope? Right. So you guys can play with the medium one. I'm gonna jump to the mustache over here. And then you guys can like follow along, or, you know. Yes, Tina?
Kaitlin, if I have made a move that I want to delete. Undo. How do I do
Undo
that?
is going to be your best friend. So what you want to do to delete or undo a button is Control Z. Control Z, if you make a flop, if you lay a point down that you don't want, you can always undo it. And you can go back as far as Illustrator will let you. Let's say if I was following this little path here and I wanted to make some changes, you can go to your Convert Anchor Point tool again and just kind of play with your bezier handles, which basically means your curve handles, and it allows you to control the curve again. Or if you wanted to turn it from a curve to a sharp angle, you can do that as well. Yes?
How do you operate each vector independently? Mine are like linked.
So because they're linked, that basically just means you connected to the two paths. And let's see, in order to like unconnect them, it would require a different tool. It would require your scissor tool. So that would be just pressing C, and then you just click on on your path with C, and that'll basically cut it in half. So that way you can move the two anchor points independently.
Caitlin, I think we have a related question here from Twitter.
Okay.
They ask, how can I cut spaces out of shapes I've already made?
Cut spaces. Let's see. So for example, if, and I'm not sure if this is going to entirely answer the question, but to cut shape or cut spaces is again either using the eraser tool or the scissor tool. And then you're going to snip a couple things here, and that divides basically your shape in half. And I think, does that answer the question to you?
I think so.
Okay. But yeah, that was kind of what Shannon was asking also, was separating the shape. And then you can always go back by pressing P and closing these two individual shapes if you wanted. And getting like the perfect angle is always dependent on also where you drop your anchor point. So wherever you drop that anchor point is that stopping point. So basically, that's where it tells to like continue a curve to make a sharp angle. So the more stopping points you add, the more challenging it gets to control the actual shape. For example, say I had a couple of anchor points here. It gives me the option to fiddle with it without messing with anything else, but at the same time, if you wanted to create a perfect circle, again, with your pen tool, the more anchor points you add, the more lumpy your circle is going to be, basically. So you always want to make sure it's less anchor points, as little anchor points as possible in order to get the shape you desire. But yeah. So everyone on to like the mustache and the 10-gallon hat? Or we sticking with just doing our own thing? And if you have trouble seeing a part of the path, you can always press in your zoom or Z and just zoom in, or you can control plus and control minus, and that allows you to zoom in on a part of the path that you may have trouble looking at.
Kaitlin, everybody is really intense out here.
I know.
Doing a really good job.
Yeah?
Good job, guys.
And remember, Control Z is going to be your best friend if you put down a plot that you don't really like where it's going. Or if you wanted to go back and just edit, you can always click and drag your old anchor points. Great. And when you're done with any of your shapes at all, you can always like change them from, since they're closed lines, you can always change them from a line to an actual object.
How'd you do that?
By going down to your stroke and your fill, down here, the black square and the little white square down at the bottom, you press the switch button, the kind of the line with the two arrows, and it changes it from a stroke, a black stroke, to a black fill. And let's say I'm not super happy with the way my mustache kind of sits or aligns. So let's say that this guy is a little crazy on the curve. If I wanted to add an anchor point, zoom into that point, and then edit it by clicking Shift-C, and you can drag it down by clicking and holding Shift. So you can change the place that it's being held. Kind of go back in and edit your handles, your bezier handles. Yeah, other than that, it's not too hard a tool when you get the chance to play with it. It can be a little daunting, but once you start fiddling with it, you start to really understand it and what everything means. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Any questions, comments, or anything that I can possibly help you with?
So guys, we can't stay in here for a bit and play with the pen tool. That is absolutely fine. That's what we're here for. And Kaitlin will be here for quite some time. We have a couple of helpers as well. So as you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. We have a question right here.
Oh, so you talked about this a little bit already with like cutting the paths and then like kind of manipulating the path that you've already made. But like say I wanted to make a star pattern on that cowboy hat, where like the star pattern isn't actually a part of that shape.
Yep.
Like cutting almost like cutting a hole in it.
So that takes a different tool within Illustrator, or what you can do is create with the pen tool on top of other shapes.
Okay.
So say this guy, you wanted that star, you just start up with a new shape and then kind of just draw on top of that. And that creates two different shapes entirely separate from each other. So once you close this, then you can move it on and off. But yeah. And say you wanted this guy to go white. So it looks like it's cut out. Technically you're cheating, but yeah. That's basically it.
Were there any other questions? You make it look so easy.
I've
It's
done
not
this
that
for
easy
a
me.
while.
Good. Any other questions from any of you? All righty. Well, thank you guys for the questions throughout. We appreciate that. If you want to know more about the pen tool or software we have here in the library, I encourage you to visit with our knowledgeable staff in the Edmond Lowe Creative Studios, or check out one of our logins for lynda.com. It's super helpful. It offers thousands of online training videos on a number of different topics, including Illustrator, if memory serves. Follow OkStateLibrary on social media to keep up to date with all of our Tech Tuesday at 2 events. And don't forget, we have the deadline for the Library Creativity Award coming up pretty soon. So get your entries in, submit those entries online. You can find that form on the library's website. You can also visit our website or ask any event staff if you'd like to learn more about that award. If you have any suggestions for future Tech Tuesday at 2 topics, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag LibTech2s. And right now, we're actually going to say goodbye to our online audience. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, OState TV, for helping us go live today on our live stream, and goodbye to everyone who was online.